Los Angeles. Keep it locked here for details on how to join us for this groundbreaking symposium examining the unique challenges, triumphs, and contributions of Black women in Los Angeles in the areas of education, healthcare, community leadership, cultural and political contributions. This public convocation will provide a critical forum to address the specific social, economic, and political realities facing Black women in LA today. We'll go live with a radio broadcast and YouTube live stream, a public discussion, and a private dialogue with some of LA's most impactful women. It's an affirmation of Black women standing at the intersection of race and gender in times of adversity while demonstrating remarkable resilience and leadership. We will listen and we will speak out and be heard, all in service of finding opportunities and solutions. Please plan to join us in celebrating our 4th anniversary by amplifying the voices of Black women. For more on our symposium and 4 events celebrating 4 years on the air, simply stay tuned or keep an eye on KBLA1580.com and help make this Juneteenth more jubilant with all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, joining you from Washington, D.C. today, where it is great to be here, to say the least. Hope you all are having a great day. I've been having a great week as I've been celebrating my birthday this week. Again, many thanks to all of you for all the birthday notes and celebrations. Much appreciated. Thanks for being in touch, and know that I'm in touch. Just follow me on social media at Dr. Nii-Quartelai. That's Dr. Nii-Q, DRNIIQ. Just type in Dr. Nii-Q, and I pop right on up fresh for you to follow. Also, be sure to download the KBLA app to listen to us live or on demand, or simply tell Alexa to play KBLA Talk 1580, and there we are for your listening pleasure. Last but not least, subscribe to A More Perfect Union podcast. That way you'll never miss an episode. Now, it's time for you to decide the good, bad, and ugly headlines of the day. Kicking us off, NBC News reporting that the Senate has confirmed Mehmet Oz as the head of Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. This is what we expected. And when I say Mehmet Oz, yep, I'm talking about Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz has been confirmed. The Senate voted to confirm the celebrity doctor as the head of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services by a party line vote of 53 to 45. Oz came under fire for questions if he may have underpaid Medicare and Social Security taxes per a Senate Democratic memo. And that's it. So he's going to be running the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services, Medicare and Medicaid Services. Buckle up. Moving along, it is USA Today that is reporting that Trump's approval rating has fallen to 43%. He has not even been president for a full 100 days, yet and still, his approval rating ain't looking too hot. It is not looking too hot at all. Let me just say that President Trump's approval rating fell to 43%, the lowest since his return to office, as Americans have soured on his tariff moves and his administration's handling of information about a military strike in Yemen. That's what this Reuters Ipsos poll found. The 3-day poll, which closed on Wednesday, showed approval of Trump's performance as the president is down 2 percentage points from the poll conducted March 21st to the 23rd, and 4 points below the 47% approval he had shortly after taking office on January 3rd. Trump registered his highest first-term approval ratings at 49% shortly after he took office in January 2017. His lowest first-term ratings was 33% in December 2017. His overall approval remains stronger than it was for most of his first term. Democrat Joe Biden, Trump's predecessor in the White House, had his lowest rating, 35%, just ahead of last November's presidential elections. And so there we are by the numbers. And we'll see where we go with these numbers as we get closer to the 100-day mark, which is not far at all. Not far at all. In other news, NPR is reporting that the Justice Department lawyers are struggling. They're struggling to defend a mountain of Trump executive orders most days this year in courtrooms all over the country. The Justice Department has been busy defending President Trump's executive actions, but in many of those cases, the government's own lawyers, they've been struggling to answer questions and having to correct the record. It's a function of how aggressively Trump has moved so far and how the attorneys have been having a hard time keeping up. NPR reports that by some accounts, the unit inside the Department of Justice that defends the federal government has lost more than a third of its lawyers this year. Top justice officials have posted hiring notices on LinkedIn for some of those jobs, even as the department fired or transferred senior lawyers. That tight squeeze is leading to some mistakes. Last month, there was a typo on the first page of an appeals court brief signed by the Attorney General and other senior officials. That's our Department of Justice at work. Just because you're moving fast don't mean you're moving in the right direction. And it doesn't mean that you're moving with integrity. It doesn't mean that you are moving at a pace that's going to get you close to what you want. And so those are some of my major takeaways from that story. But what are your takeaways from that story? Feel free to sound off in a More Perfect group chat for those that are streaming on YouTube. And this is also a good time to remind you of an initiative that KBLA launched not too long ago. It's called Fired But Not Forgotten, the Testimony Project. If you are a federal government worker, particularly a Black federal worker who has been the victim of these mass layoffs, we want to hear from you. In the spirit of investigative storytelling, we want to hear from you. Email us at info@smileyAudiomedia.com. That's info@smileyAudiomedia.com. You can also use the open mic feature on the KBLA app to share your story. It's not lost on us that good government job, the idea of the good government job, is slipping away. There are a lot of Black families, not just here in Washington, D.C. or in the DMV area, but across the country, who have been able to raise a family, send their kids off to school, achieve some level of economic mobility because of the stability that good government job allowed. And right now, that stability is under attack. And there are far-reaching consequences to that attack. And so we want to hear from you. Don't be shy about reaching out. And we're happy to talk to you on the record and off the record, but by all means, we want to talk with you. And so please do reach out. Finally, in other news, have you seen the U.S. stock market? The U.S. stock market sees its worst days since the COVID pandemic after investors have been shaken up by these Trump tariffs. This is what we're seeing. The Guardian reporting that U.S. stock market tumbled today as investors parsed the sweeping changes in global trading following Donald Trump's announcement of a barrage of tariffs on the country's trading partners. All three major U.S. stock markets closed down in the worst day since June 2020 during the COVID pandemic. That's where we're at. The tech-heavy NASDAQ fell 6%, while the S&P 500 and Dow dropped 4.8% and 3.9%, respectively. Apple and Nvidia, two of the U.S.'s largest companies by market value, had lost a combined $470 billion in value by midday. Meanwhile, the U.S. dollar hit a 6-month low, going down at least 2.2% as of this morning, compared with other major currencies, and oil prices sank on fears of a global slowdown. Now, call me crazy, but it seems like these tariffs, these indiscriminate tariffs are being thrown on products and services that the American people really rely on, that these services are really in danger of being taxed. And there are a lot of people out there that are going to feel that. And so, again, fasten your seatbelt. You have been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey. We have a great show in store for you. If you are a fan of the HBO Max series Hacks, sit still, because we have a great conversation with one of the stars of Hacks, the hit series, right here with us. Carl Clemens Hopkins. He plays Marcus on the show. He's here to talk to us about the new season that's about to drop. More when we come forward, when he shares, I should say they share, some things that you're not going to hear anywhere else. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Individual results may vary. Consult a doctor prior to use.
If you've struggled to lose weight in the past, this important message is for you, because you could lose as much as 50 pounds or more with Zelfie. Zelfie makes it easy and affordable to get weight loss treatment 100% online. Zelfie providers can prescribe FDA-approved GLP-1 weight loss medications clinically shown to help people lose weight, like Wegovy, Zepbound, and others. Plus, help get the medication covered by insurance, so it's as little as $0 a month.
The doctors are super helpful, and the meds have been a game changer. It's the first program I've had success with.
Before Zelfie, I was unable to lose weight, even though I was eating healthy and exercising 6 days a week. Zelfie helped me not only lose weight, but I feel so much better.
Text GOAL to 200-300 to get started today with Zelfie and see if weight loss medications like Wegovy or Zepbound are right for you. Don't wait. Text now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text GOAL to 200-300. That's GOAL to 200-300. GOAL to 200-300.
Hit me! National News The Consequence. Informed opinion. And analysis beyond the headlines. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and really delighted to welcome my next guest. For anybody who is a fan of HBO Max's comedy drama series Hacks, you're in for a treat. Clemens Hopkins is joining us here today to promote the season 4 premiere of Hacks, which premieres on Thursday, April 10th, with 2 episodes, followed by weekly releases until the season finale on May 29th. Welcome to the show, Carl.
Thank you, Dr. Corley. Nice to meet you.
It's very, very, very nice to meet you. And so, talk to us about what we should be most excited about this season for the hit show Hacks.
Yeah, this season of Hacks, I really appreciate it because it's picking up right where it left off, and there's a lot of cliffhangers that needs to be addressed. There's a lot of actions that need to be tied up, and those we hit the ground running those first two episodes. It's also a bit of a reshaping and a restructuring of the world of Hacks, in that we're really diving into Deborah's uh, late night TV show that's filming in LA and starting right now, that they really built toward in the last season. So I'm excited for everyone to see it. I'm excited for everyone to see uh, Marcus's evolution. It's been a few years now of him kind of on a journey to self and a journey to self-realization, and taking his life back. So I think people are going to really enjoy watching the fruits of that labor.
I mean, my goodness. I mean, can you believe it's season 4?
Oh my
Season
God.
4 of Hacks. I mean, what a journey it's been.
It's been a whirlwind. It's been, this show that we hoped worked, that we were filming in the middle of 2020. Um, and for it to take off like this is such a blessing. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this season to kind of have my feet on the ground and take everything in, and appreciate the real love that we've been receiving over this past couple of years.
Wow. So talk to me about, what you think is so special about this show. You all have won a whole lot of awards. You all really sort of helped everybody else to raise their game. 4 seasons of this series. What is so special about Hacks that has it in the zeitgeist the way it does?
Yeah, I think first and foremost the writing. These writing, the creative team and the writers involved are some really dope individuals, and they're coming from so many different backgrounds and so much really quality comedy and drama writing. The past, we have Jen Saxey, who's one of the co-creators and executive producers, who's coming from Good Place, and he also wrote for Late Night a while ago. And we just have a great team of artists creating this show. And on top of that, the characters, these are very, very different. It's a very different group of people that I don't think otherwise would have come together outside of the world of Deborah Vance. And I'd like to believe that it takes real strides in reflecting the groups of people that are in the world, the groups of people that are in entertainment. It's not trying to give you a cookie cutter one type of person in every role. And I think that's what helps bring together a wide audience. And I'm glad to be a part of something that's bringing people together. There's so much tearing us apart every day, every moment, it seems. So the fact that this show can be something for the positive, and this show can be something that is not part of the problem, I'm really glad about. Oh no, did I lose you? Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying that for people who are less familiar, Hacks just won a Golden Globe, a Critics' Choice, a GLAAD Media Award for Best Comedy, and that doesn't happen easy.
No, it does not.
I think that's a very, very public demonstration of, again, just sort of the wide appeal, the wide audience. And the ability for so many different communities to see themselves on the screen and in each character.
Yeah, I think that's directly related to that, and I'm so excited about the show's success. These are all really, really good byproducts of a lot of hard work and a lot of very real intention.
And so this season, I'm hearing it's really huge, particularly for your character, for a lot of characters, but also for your character, navigating through the uncertainty and chaos of how the last season ended. Now, we can't talk a lot about what happens this season.
Cannot.
but last season is a whole nother case. For people who are less familiar, what is the plot twist from the end of last season that has everybody on the edge of their seats? waiting to get this drop of new episodes this season?
Yeah, the plot twist from last season for Marcus, my character, is a few seasons coming. Um, he really is starting to realize that the world he was making with Deborah Vance, the lead character, is evolving into something else. And she is a big part of the catalyst of that evolution. But that evolution involves her really going after what she wants, really choosing herself, really trying to make her life what she wants it to be, which I feel is inspiring to Marcus overall. In last season, we see how it's frustrating for Marcus and how it keeps getting in his way. But he has a realization toward the end of last season of basically saying, maybe I need to let this person go and I need to basically get my life, focus on the life that I'm trying to make. What are my dreams? What am I trying to do? What am I trying to make happen? And I think a lot of us can get so focused on, with the best of intentions, get so focused on uh, who we're working for, who we're working with, what we're trying to, what job we're trying to do. And if that continues to be in conflict with your personhood, with your independence, with your pursuit of what you want, then decisions have to be made. And at the end of the last season, we find him at the beginning of making those decisions. He has not yet told Deborah about these decisions. Um, and that is what we start with this season, is how he is going to approach this, how she's going to respond. She's known for being a very volatile, very vengeful individual. So, how he faces up to this with her and how he deals with the potential wrath that could spew his way is what we have to look forward to in season 4.
Ooh, all
Yeah.
right. And so, Carl, talk to us about the Emmy nomination that you received for the role of Marcus in 2021, making him the first non-binary actor to be nominated in the award ceremony's 73-year history. He was recently honored at the Critic Choice Association's LGBTQ Film and Television Celebration for their performance in the series. That was you, and also recipient of the Human Rights Campaign Visibility Award. There are a lot of people out there that are challenged with they, them pronouns. And there are a lot of folks out there that, feel like, they're being forced to be more politically correct, and that this is a part of the Hollywood agenda. Talk to us about your thoughts on playing a they, them character, a non-binary character, a Black non-binary character at that.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Well, first, for clarity, I'm a non-binary individual. Marcus, I believe, is not on that journey just yet, or maybe he won't. I'm not sure. However, it's interesting to hear people have pushback or be, as you say, challenged by having to expand their understandings of other humans' experiences, especially as it relates to the English language that we are all being subjected to using. Hold on one second, Doctor. I just have
Sure.
And just for clarity, I am identify as a non-binary individual. I don't believe Marcus does, the character, but it's interesting to hear. It's always interesting to hear when people find themselves, I'll use your word, challenged by having to expand their understanding of other humans' experiences, especially when that challenge involves using different parts of the English language that we are all kind of being subjected to using. The truth of the matter is there are only so many people in the world from Great Britain. There are only so many people who English is their language. And because of colonization and the American slave trade and all kinds of horrible things over the last hundreds of years, we're all speaking this language. So for you now to say, oh, well, this is too much for me, this is the line where I draw, it sounds, personally, I think it sounds ridiculous. If someone's expression of themselves is a challenge to you, then that is your challenge. If you find yourself challenged by someone else's pronouns, someone else's gender identity, someone else's racial makeup, someone else's family, someone else's place of origin, someone else's skin color, someone else's hair color, someone else's artistic expression, you need to solve your problem with acceptance. I can assure you this is not a Hollywood thing. I can assure you this is not a quote unquote American thing. This is an understanding of peoples of a planet recognizing that they are more than the binary that slave-based capitalism had them to believe. This is people of a planet realizing that there are deeper truths to this human experience than the whitewashed cookie cutter pilgrim diaspora would have you to fit into. So I would hope that people examine themselves with their issue of someone else's expression, because the truth of the matter is your problems with it are quite literally none of my business. Mm-hmm. So with as much love as I can muster, figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what do you say to the people out there that say, okay, you know, it might have been a journey of self-discovery, you know, we're all on our journey of self-discovery.
Yes, we are.
And, you know, for some people, you know, it may take them a minute, you know, they may be trying, you know, and some people feel like they don't get enough grace in terms of just sort of getting with the program, if you will. What say you to the people that say, well, okay, give me time, give me grace?
I say enjoy the time, take the grace. My thing is this: if you are using my pronouns, you're probably not talking to me. You're probably not talking with me. You know, you and I have been in conversation for the last 14 minutes. We're not using each other's pronouns because we're talking to each other. If there's some type of slip, if there's some type of what have you, if you need some time to wrap your mind around something, I say take all the time you need and also express that you need the time. That said, do use that time to move yourself forward. Do use that time to progress your knowledge and your understanding. I need grace and I need time is different than, well, I've been doing this for 40 years and I'm not changing.
If you're looking to be engaged, enlightened, and empowered about issues related to national politics, elections, identity, culture change, and social justice, you've tuned into the right place. A More Perfect Union continues when we come forward.
The wind is blowing cold. Have we lost our way tonight? Have we lost our hope to sorrow?
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Black New York City Mayor Eric Adams is skipping the Democratic primary and running as an independent, saying dropped federal charges dragged on too long. He's speaking today at the National Action Network convention. Black Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott's $4.6 billion budget plan for 2026 is now with City Council. It closes an $85 million gap without raising property or income taxes, focusing on youth, safety, and neighborhood growth. The plan uses new fees, cost cuts, and agency savings to balance the budget. The University of Michigan Alumni Association will fund scholarships for more than 300 underrepresented students after the Lead Scholars program was cut due to Trump-era guidance targeting DEI efforts. And rapper Young Thug's probation is at risk after prosecutors claim he posted a photo of a DA investigator. They've asked a judge to revoke it. He denies any threats, saying he's a good person. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Since the dawn of baseball, countless players have heard the call of destiny. Witness the hills of the game in ballparks nationwide. Get your tickets today at MLB.com/tickets. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The awards continue to add up for USC women's basketball star Juju Watkins. Thursday morning, the sophomore from Compton was named the Associated Press Player of the Year. Watkins was almost a unanimous selection. She received 29 of the 31 votes from a panel of media members. Watkins is only the fourth sophomore to win the honor since AP created the award in 1995. Watkins has had a major impact on the USC program in just 2 years. Before she arrived on the USC campus in 2023, the average attendance at the Galen Center was just over 1,000. Average attendance for home games this season was 5,932. The Lakers play Golden State tonight at Crypto.com. Important game for both teams. The Lakers are third in the Western Conference. Golden State is fifth. Both teams are trying to stay among the top six to automatically qualify for the playoffs. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Dominique DePrima, and it's almost time to celebrate KBLA's 4th anniversary, coming up Juneteenth 2025. We'll be marking the achievement with 4 key community events, including a special symposium, luncheon, and brain trust hosted by me entitled The State of Black Women in Los Angeles. Keep it locked here for details on how to join us for this groundbreaking symposium examining the unique challenges, triumphs, and contributions of Black women in Los Angeles in the areas of education, healthcare, community leadership, cultural and political contributions. This public convocation will provide a critical forum to address the specific social, economic, and political realities facing Black women in LA today. We'll go live with a radio broadcast and YouTube live stream, a public discussion, and a private dialogue with some of LA's most impactful women. It's an affirmation of Black women standing at the intersection of race and gender in times of adversity while demonstrating remarkable resilience and leadership. We will listen and we will speak out and be heard, all in service of finding opportunities and solutions. Please plan to join us in celebrating our 4th anniversary by amplifying the voices of Black women. For more on our symposium and 4 events celebrating 4 years on the air, simply stay tuned or keep an eye on KBLA1580.com and help make this Juneteenth more jubilant with all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
Imagine serving our country to protect our rights and freedoms, then coming home without a place to call your own. LA property owners, we need you. You can help get veterans off the street and into safe, stable housing, because this is not just a housing issue, it is a human issue. This is Joe Mantegna. Learn more about how you can help end veteran homelessness. Email houseuravets@lacity.org.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
Now back to building a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey. They are Carl Clemens Hopkins, as in one of the stars of HBO Max's hit series, Hacks, which premieres season 4 on Thursday, April 10th. They premiere with 2 episodes, not 1, but 2. Followed by weekly releases until the season finale on May 29th. Carl, before the break, I mentioned that you began pursuing television and film opportunities after watching the brilliant 2016 film Moonlight. And after seeing the film, you wrote a little something in your journal, and your life has not been the same since. Tell us what you wrote.
Yeah, basically, I was writing that I couldn't believe that it was possible. And by possible, I mean I've, try to be careful when I say this, seeing that film gave me the idea or gave me the notion that there were stories that involved people who looked like me, whose experiences I shared, to a point. But more specifically, that there were tender, heartfelt, intricate, character-driven stories centering queer characters that were being made. And it was basically writing, I know there'll never be another Moonlight, but I want to pursue this avenue of storytelling just because I now see that there is something there. Um, Before that, we weren't invisible in film and television, but we were very, very, and by we, I mean Black queer characters, Black queer stories. It was very few and far in between, and seldom with a lot of nuance and real human complexity. Not to be too, hoity-toity about it, but it basically was exciting to me that there was at least one example of some really great storytelling that didn't, and inspired me to pursue this because it made me believe that maybe this won't have to happen with, bastardizing myself or overly debasing myself. I love comedy, I love silliness, but there is a line, and it's an historic fine line when it comes to Black people on stage, Black people in cinema, etc. And we seem to be every decade fighting for more and more clarity, more and more humanity, more and more understanding, more and more diversity of our stories. So, and that film sparked, I believe, a really great moment, with Black art, with queer art, with any type of marginalized community when it comes to art in the mainstream, spaces. We tend to have moments, we have spurts, these two, it happened in 2020, 2020, everybody was, oh my goodness, look at all these Black and brown indigenous people and stories that we can tell. And then 2023 came and they said, all right, let's pack it in. So
and then 2025 came and they said, let's rip all the letters
oh my
of Black
goodness,
Matter out the street in Washington, D.C. I mean,
back to the margins. We are making it. Leave it to Beaver. We're done with you. Get these people out of here. But yeah, it. So I guess long story long. I was inspired by that spurt of greatness, and I'm still inspired by it. And even though there's fools doing foolish things, I know that those inspirations and those pieces and those stories are not dying. We're not quitting. We're not going anywhere. We're not. This little thing is not going to last. So my hope is that there are more people who are encouraged by Moonlight, by Hacks, by anything. Honestly, at this point, get the encouragement we can get it.
That's right.
Because that piece for me was a very real catalyst to, okay, let me try to get myself together so I can try to make something that makes other people or even myself feel the way that piece made me feel.
Yeah, I mean, I just really love that story, and just it's another example of the power of art to carry us forward, right? I mean, one of the things that you wrote in your journal is, I want to be ready, right? After seeing that, I want to be ready. And I think there are a lot of our leaders, learners, and listeners out there that, are trying to manifest whatever is their next. They want ready for whatever it is that's next. And so I think you're just a very powerful demonstration. Your career, your life is a powerful demonstration of the power of manifestation and preparation, meeting opportunity. I want to remind people that in 2021, when you began starring in HBO Max's comedy drama series Hacks, you received a nomination for the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series. And so, wait a minute, 2016, you watching Moonlight like the rest of us? And then in 2021, you're getting a nomination for a Primetime Emmy Award?
Yeah, it's when you say it like that in one sentence, it is quite incredible. And I'm really honored and grateful for it. And what I know is, 2016, I watched Moonlight. 2017, I had to move out of my apartment. 2018, I'm out without a job. I'm in the hospital. Like I know every little step between those two. But I will say the focus and the inspiration that was started in 2016 it is a direct line to 2021. It's just a lot in between that. A lot, a lot, a lot.
But it's that in between that counts. I mean,
Yes, that's what makes it.
the example that's coming to mind for me is like going to the gym, right? And
Yeah.
the days that you don't want to go, those are the days that make the difference. It's not the days where you may be dressed all cute in your gym
Yep.
outfit and
Mm-hmm.
you really feeling it that particular day. No, no, no. It's the days that you don't want to go that make the difference. And I think the same is true just in our life and career. It's the days where, we may not be feeling 100%. We may not even be 100% sure, but,
Exactly.
those days times other days, I guess that's what leads you to get Primetime Emmy Award nominations. Uh, yeah. Carl, in our remaining minutes, people may not know that you starred in the slasher film Candyman, which was released in
Also, yeah.
2021. And in 2022, you starred as James Baldwin opposite Crystal Dickinson as Nikki Giovanni in Lessons in Survival, 1971 at the Vineyard Theater. Talk to us about how you're reflecting on the life and legacy of those two giants in the Black queer world, Black and queer world. How are you
Yeah.
drawing on those characters, as you move forward in your life and career, considering a time such as this?
Yeah, that piece, and just to give some clarity, Crystal and I had in-ears, kind of like ear pods, if you will, and we were replicating in a conversation that they had, which was hours long. We kind of truncated it, but basically we were hearing their words and repeating their words as we were hearing them, kind of actor as conduit. So this is like 90 pages, dense pages of just their conversation, and having those two prolific, amazing individuals' voices in our ears and speaking their words every day. I'm not gonna lie to you. Initially, it was kicking my behind because it's a era of wordsmanship and an era of language that sadly we don't really have anymore. So and also, James Baldwin, like, there are a few more brilliant minds, and I'm not one of them. So it was really real training and really grueling for a while. But once we got to it, it just was so. I feel like I've gotten a one-on-one education just having this person's words in my ears this whole time. And as it relates to our current time, it's even more apropos. It's so necessary. It's so now, both fortunately and unfortunately. But it has really shaped my focus. It has really shaped my drive, and it's really shaped how I look at material, the kind of material I want to be doing. Um, I'm not knocking anybody's hustle. I'm not trying to take nobody's bag, but I do recognize that there is a need and a real push for brilliance and creativity and thought and the communication of independent thought and the basically the community. We are in need to we really need to be in community with each other and encouraging each other, lifting each other up, challenging each other, and recognizing the fact that I think they recognized, Miss Giovanni, Mr. Baldwin, that there is no nation to save us. There is no um, exterior or national agenda that is including our betterment. That is our job, um, and it's just the truth. Would that were different, but we know that it is not. So that piece in particular, I was, again, never have I ever been had to work so hard, but I'm really grateful for it, and I'm excited for more pieces that give me that kind of challenge and that access that kind of intellect and creative thinking, because I think it may be a very real need for us today.
Well, we are so glad that you decided to continue to pursue art, because for folks who didn't know, prior to being cast in Hacks, you'd actually planned to stop acting, and you were actively preparing to apply for business school. And so, you can always get back to business school, but we're glad that you are in the business of producing this incredible character that we love, Marcus, in Hacks. Again, season 4 premieres on Thursday, April 10th on HBO Max, with 2 episodes followed by weekly releases until the season finale on May 10th. I've enjoyed this conversation. Thank you, Carl.
I have too. Thank you so much, Dr. Quartey. This was great. It's a great way to start the day.
You take good care. You've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
Striving to make America a nation as good as its promise. This is A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
I found out that one of my players was vaping. I brought him in and asked him, where did this stuff come from? He said, it's bigger than you think, coach. He had told me that almost everybody in my team was vaping. The next day, all the parents came in, and I said, hey, you as parents need to do your part. You guys need to figure out how, why, and when this stuff is happening, and we got to get it fixed.
Coach Sanchez and his team took vaping head-on. Learn how he and other Californians are beating big tobacco at undo.org.
At Providence, health equity is the foundation of our community health initiatives, ensuring care reaches those who need it most. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in America. African Americans face a higher risk of life-threatening issues like hypertension, the #1 cause of stroke. 55% of Black adults have high blood pressure. The good news is 80% of heart disease is preventable with healthy lifestyle changes and patient-centered care provided by the Providence Heart and Vascular Institute. From routine screenings to advanced procedures, Providence provides comprehensive care for the heart conditions that overly impact our community by ensuring patients receive treatments tailored to their needs. Let's stop the trend of being 30% more likely to die from heart-related problems. Take charge of your heart health with world-class cardiologists who deliver the compassionate care you deserve. Visit providence.org/SoCalHeart. That's providence.org/SoCalHeart to request an appointment.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice
justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't back down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. We face tragedy, but we don't fall into despair. We continue our work to build a more perfect union.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. It is about that time for the quiet part out loud. There are two questions I've been really pondering. One, is it woke to care about the environment? And two, should we be putting our faith in air conditioning as opposed to conservation efforts? These are two questions that I believe are intertwined. As reported by The Guardian, they're asking this question around, is it woke to care about the environment? And they're talking about how Trump's cuts are dismantling global conservation work. Are we living in the age of extinction? Well, when guns finally fell silent in 1992, little was left alive in Gorongosa National Park during the 15 years of Mozambique's civil war, in which more than 1 million people died. The country's wildlife also paid a terrible price. Poaching for meat and ivory was so intense that small surviving elephant populations, they rapidly evolved to lose their tusks. Leopards, wild dogs, and spotted hyenas had all disappeared. Populations of zebras, buffalo, and other herbivores had also collapsed. And in the following years, a huge effort to restore the park began to take shape. Led by philanthropist Gregory Carr and Mozambique's government, it was the start of the park's journey to becoming one of Africa's most celebrated wildlife conservation success stories. But today, elephants, lions, hippos, antelopes, painted wolves, hyenas, and leopards all thrive in the park once again, thanks to the work for the past 20 years. It's been supported by a long-term partnership with, guess who? The United States Agency for International Development, also known as USAID. You see, now Gorongosa is among hundreds of conservation projects around the world thrown into uncertainty by Donald Trump's budget cuts to USAID and other branches of the American government. Experts warn that the cuts could cause a global surge in wildlife trafficking and poaching, as support for schemes protecting critically endangered species have ended. And so, from combating illegal fishing and the Galapagos Islands to backing anti-rhino poaching initiatives in East Africa, guess what? The U.S. government has been one of the largest funders, y'all. One of the largest funders of conservation around the world, providing on average a little over 12% of the world's biodiversity funding between 2015 and 2022. But beware, the Trump administration's cuts and funding reviews have forced many to reduce ranger patrols and critical restoration efforts, leaving vulnerable species with dramatically diminished protections. And so I think that is an element of these haphazard, indiscriminate budget cuts that ensure that the people of the world pay a price, that the animals of the world pay a price. And while we're talking about paying prices, did you know that U.S. banks predict that climate goals will fail, but air conditioning firms will thrive. You see, the world is on track for disastrous global heating, as reported by The Guardian, but this will create profits for some air conditioning companies, according to forecasts by leading Wall Street financial institutions. You see, recent reports by Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan Chase, and the Institute of International Finance all make clear the finance sector considers the Paris Climate Agreement, limiting global temperatures, you know, the one that was signed a decade ago by nearly 200 nations, they consider it effectively dead. And investors should plan accordingly. The Morgan Stanley Investor Research forecast, though, that multiplying heat waves will provide a windfall for companies that provide air conditioning. And the global market could grow by 41% to be worth $331 billion by the end of the decade. The analysis outlines several dozen air conditioning businesses around the world that are likely to profit from a hotter world. So while the U.S. government is supporting less investments in conservation work, you got investors on Wall Street placing a bet on air conditioning companies because they believe the Paris Climate Agreement is dead. They believe that any serious work around the world to combat climate is dead. What do you think? How do you feel about that? Most importantly, what are we going to do about it? We'll have to leave it there. My thanks to The Village helps us produce a more perfect union each and every day. Our executive producer, Tavis Smiley, our sound engineer, Andy, our show producers, Kim and Faraji and Art, and of course, each and every one of you, our leaders, learners, and listeners. Remember, don't panic. Don't you do it. Organize. Do what you can from where you are with what you have. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey in New York City today, wishing you a great day and a great weekend. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 15.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Black New York City Mayor Eric Adams is skipping the Democratic primary and running as an independent, saying dropped federal charges dragged on too long. He's speaking today at the National Action Network convention. Black Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott's $4.6 billion budget plan for 2026 is now with city